disappearance of Melinda Ford. The disappearance of Melinda still remains an unsolved history. It's a cold case file. Oral history, as told by the elders, is that she was an unlisted passenger aboard the Titanic. She was traveling as a personal caregiver with a European contractor. April 1912, the Titanic hit an iceberg. I thought about jumping overboard, says Melinda, but I was too scared. Then I thought about sliding down the ropes, but oh my God, they were shooting and all black faces in sight, nor would they give us life jacket. Then the water forced me into the sea. I swam towards European lifeboat, but they pushed me away. Then a big, large wave grabbed me, and it forced me. It twisted me around like I was dancing. Of course, my ancestors continued to search. They used dancing to tell the stories. They told it through folklore. They told it through history. They danced and they danced. And they continued to search and search for me. But I remains lost at sea forever. But you know what? Our ancestors always come back to tell. You can't keep our history hidden from us. So he's saying that he's proposing again this year, but Arian is not going to be the you coleslaw. Let's see what he's saying.
And Mel's, God said go out to that's Mel.
That's right, here's the God said go wrong. I actually just introduced the whole summer collection.
I'll definitely say if God can tell Melly when to go, he can definitely tell me when I can get married again. How's that going, by the way? Between Mel and yeah. This is a challenge. And we don't talk at all. Like I had a kid for 7 days, or how many other days, and she won't call.
You got 4 kids. There has to be some communication.
So he's saying that he's going to get married again. Yeah, right. He found out that the grass not greener on the other side. Coleslaw, you thought that your grass was greener. You thought that what you had between your legs was the it factor. But it's not. You couldn't keep this man coleslaw. He said, I'm getting ready to get married again. I'm proposing this year. But it's not to you, coleslaw. No, it's not. He wants his wife back, you guys. Y'all know that he wants a relationship back with his wife. Yes, he do. It may never, it means that he's probably missing her. Yeah, he's admit that he misses his ex-wife. Grass not green on the other side, and he want to propose to you. Propose this year. Could it be to Mel? Is that why he's sending her flowers? We do know coleslaw is in the background. She said, where he going? I'll wait. I took him with my eyes closed. Well, coleslaw, hope your eyes is open because this man is on national TV acknowledging that he's going to propose this year and it's not you. He may even propose to Sheree. That's what he said on the reunion. But man, this man had realized that the grass is not greener on the other side, you guys. He said he's not happier. He's not happy with you, coleslaw. You were just something that he could just, come through the back door and slide on back out the back door again. You were just his spare tire. He says that he's asking his wife to hang out. Can we go for a walk in the park, Mel? He would just let me walk you to the door. Let me walk you to the car. Oh, he just want to be close to his wife again. That's what he wants. He wants his Mel back. Coleslaw, listen, open your eyes. Open your eyes, coleslaw. Open your eyes.
We don't communicate at all, which isn't good. When you're trying to go. I had a kid for 7 days, or how many other days, and she won't call.
You got 4 kids. There has to be some communication.
No, we don't communicate at all, which isn't good. When you're trying to co-parent.
Right.
You know? Been going.
He want his wife to reconcile with him now. He's doing it the wrong way. He's in the background harassing her and stalking her, but up public, he gonna say, I don't want you and you don't want me. But it's a lie. It's a lie. We all know you want your wife back.
In and out of court. I don't like it. You know, I talked to her about that too.
Why y'all in court?
Ultimately, because she had too many babysitters.
You took her to court.
Yeah.
Because she got too many babysitters.
Yeah.
And you know this for sure.
Oh, this fact, yeah. Yeah.
So what's too many babysitters?
20 something.
Why tell nobody got no 20-some babysitters?
What if it's true? I'm asking you, what if it's true? What would be your reaction?
I don't know if I believe that.
I am so glad that somebody on this show don't believe this man. But what it is, you guys, he's stuck. She left him in 2020, so he's stuck with the number 2020 babysitters. He said, Mel said that she had compromised with that man. He done ran them 3 babysitters that he said she should have off. But anyway, it makes sense. It all makes sense now. He just wanted whatever he put up or throw out in the air, it is just to keep her hanging. So what he have did with you, Coleslaw, he has dismissed that relationship he got with you every time. But he still know he can keep you in the background. You are in the shadows, in the background, Coleslaw. He gonna put his romantic things to the side for you. You always put to the side the stuff that he do to you is not romance. If he was romantic to you, Coleslaw, you would be up front. Look who he's talking about. He's talking about an older lady, the old bees that you always complain about. Yes, Coleslaw. Not to mention you're a linebacker now. I saw you standing up there with thunder thighs. But y'all broke up because of this girl on a serious note. You broke up. You threw everything away. Now Comba has hit you in the face, Martel. You lost the biggest thing that you had in your life. You lost the biggest support system you had in your life, Martel. That is your ex-wife, and you know that. So, yeah, you want her back. Yeah, you missing her. Yeah, you realize that there is nobody like Mel. Nobody that can fit her shoes. What's the difference between Mel and this young lady now that you messed your marriage up for? You won't even marry this girl. Every stage that y'all went through, almost we watched it on TV, how you was just tipping out on your wife. Now you realize that the grass is not greener on the other side. You wishing and you hoping that this woman would take you back. And Arian, no, I'm not going to marry you, Coleslaw. You can keep on wishing and hoping and waiting and waiting and waiting. He says he's not going to marry you. Won't you join me and help me celebrate the 111th year of my great aunt death aboard the Titanic, Auntie Melinda. Now, my grandfather was sitting on his knee and cried. I mean, he suffered. He died. My grandparent died with a broken heart because we were never, ever able to solve this case. This is a cold case file. This is actually oral history that you won't get in the book. Don't ask me to prove nothing to y'all because I can't. I'm just passing along what was told to me as a little girl about my auntie who died aboard the Titanic. Now, this strictly from memory. And here we go. This is the Titanic. Listen, y'all.
Let me explain to y'all who Ellen was. Ellen is the biracial black girl. She could pass for white. Her brother Ernest was engaged to Melinda, my sister. So Ellen was the one that survived, that took the information back to my grandfather. And so that's how my grandfather knew what had happened aboard the Titanic.
Memory. So we're just going to say this letter is for entertainment purposes only, but based on the true story. Melinda Borden was a nurse, and her future sister-in-law, Ellen Jones, described the sinking ship. So I'm going to tell y'all about the character. By the way, this is taken out of the book Black Titanic. Right here, Ellen Jones. She was her future sister-in-law because Melinda was engaged to her brother Ernest. But Ellen Jones could pass for she was white. She could pass for white because she was taken advantage of by the colonizer with her African American mother, a Negro mother. Her Negro mother. We're using the term Negro in here. Y'all, this is 1912, y'all. So anyhow, let's get on with the letters. So you got Ernest, you got Melinda, and Alexander is my grandfather. So, and that's Melinda's brother. Letter to Melinda's brother, Alexander Borden, from Ellen Jones, who was the Negro lookout person because she could pass for white. The other word, they would send her on the book, on the first, second class area to spy, to see what was going on. Because the Negroes was in the bowels of the Titanic. You guys probably never heard of the bowels of the Titanic. But that's just like the basement. It was hot down there. That's where all the boilers and heater was. That's where all the hard labors was. They call them the Black Gang because they used to take the coals and have to throw them in the boilers down there. Those big boilers the coal that they used for fuels. But before I go on with the letter, let me tell you how they ended up there. The Negroes ended up in the bowels of the Titanic, and they were called the Black Gang because it was a coal strike. And during the coal strike, none of the white laborers would go to work. So black men went to work and took their place. So that's how a lot of them got on the Titanic. They'll tell you that, blacks weren't allowed, but it was during that coal strike. And they would have lost a hell of a lot of money if they couldn't go or sail. So that's what happened. That's how a lot of blacks got on there. But anyway, let's start with the letter. As the boat began to sink and water filled the lower decks, only the white immigrants and poor white Americans was allowed to leave. Melinda pushes me through the screaming crowd. This is Ellen, y'all. Melinda pushes me through the screaming crowd, but I held back. I wanted to die with dignity as a Negro, an African, with my brother and friends. Melinda and the other Negro friends begged me to leave, yelling, "Who would tell our story as well as notify our families?" Now, the water was up to my waist, and while my Negro friends and I was trying to leave the bottom deck, the gate was locked, and in desperation, the males began to kick the gate down. Suddenly, the gate opened, and the white crew members began to shoot any black face on sight. My brother Ernest, remember Ellen is describing the scene. My brother Ernest shielded himself in front of Melinda and me, and white crew members shot him in the face. That's some cold stuff right there. At once, a big fat white crew member grabbed Melinda's arm and said, "You have to go take care of my wife. She's in labor."
Melinda was screaming with grief. She was in shock. And as we entered the top deck, the white female was in labor. Melinda didn't hold her tongue. You're the same people that killed my friends and the love of my life, and you? You mean you want me to deliver your white baby? You mean you want me to save your white life? I heard the gun click, says Ellen. I yelled, I'll help Melinda deliver your baby. But you can't stand over us with a gun to her head. You must leave the room. I yelled, I want my nurse to go with me. So right now, Ellen is using her white privilege, and she's telling this man that, Melinda works for her, because he thinks she's a white lady. I heard the gun clicked. I yelled, I'll help Melinda deliver your baby, but you can't stand over us with a gun in our head. You must leave the room. I yelled, I want my nurse to go with me. Meanwhile, water was rushing fast on the upper deck, and you can hear the minigun shooting, as well as smell death in the air. The man left the room, and Melinda never touched a woman in labor. Instead, she wrote a letter for Alex and wrapped it inside plastic and stuck it down my bra. As the boat sank, water separated. Now, the water was up to my waist, and while my Negro friends and I was trying to leave the bottom deck, the gate was locked, and in desperation, the males began to kick the gate down. Suddenly, the gate opened, and the white crew members began to shoot any black face on sight. My brother Ernest, remember Ellen is describing the scene. My brother Ernest shielded himself in front of Melinda and me, and white crew member shot him in the face. That's some cold stuff right there. At once, a big fat white crew member grabbed Melinda's arm and said, you have to go take care of my wife. She's in labor. Melinda was screaming with grief. She was in shock. And as we entered the top deck, the white female was in labor. Melinda didn't hold her tongue. You're the same people that killed my friends and the love of my life, and you? You mean you want me to deliver your white baby? You mean you want me to save your white life? I heard the gun click, says Ellen. I yelled, I'll help Melinda deliver your baby. But you can't stand over us with a gun to her head. You must leave the room. I yelled, I want my nurse to go with me. So right now, Ellen is using her white privilege, and she's telling this man that, Melinda works for her, because he thinks she's a white lady. I heard the gun clicked. I yelled, I'll help Melinda deliver your baby, but you can't stand over us with a gun in our head. You must leave the room. I yelled, I want my nurse to go with me. Meanwhile, water was rushing fast on the upper deck, and you can hear the minigun shooting, as well as smell death in the air. The man left the room, and Melinda never touched a woman in labor. Instead, she wrote a letter for Alex and wrapped it inside plastic and stuck it down my bra. As the boat sank, water separated us. The pregnant white woman was washed away, as well as Melinda. I was washed overboard. I saw some wreckage that I could cling to. So many black people was in the ocean, and so many Negroes was tossed alive and overboard. Many hours went by. Some Negroes were still swimming, but the rescue boats would just pass them by and pick up whites only. Then Negroes began to do for self, trying to get into the overloaded boats, but whites would kick them away. One white man kicked it, a male Negro. He grabbed the white man's legs and he flipped everybody in the lifeboat in the ocean. They drowned, except for the Negro. Hours passed. Oh man, I was freezing. I was freezing at near death, y'all. I was freezing at near death, watching corpses floating by, whites, blacks, children as well. I thought I was hallucinating when a big, strong black man grabbed me. A strong black man grabbed me. He pulled me on a homemade boat with all Negroes on it. Ellen, he called, where is Melinda and your brother? This is taken from the book, The Black Titanic, and Melinda was engaged to Ellen's brother. Okay, y'all, this section right here this is a book that I found maybe 11 years later after trying to research to find any book that would explain whether black people was on the Titanic besides me talking about it. But anyway, I found this book finally. This is from the first-hand account. This is the first book that came out after the Titanic sank in 1912, and I had never seen it before. You will never see this again in any other writings about what happened on the Titanic with the blacks that worked on the Titanic. Now, I'm going to talk about the wireless operator. I'm going to talk about the COD messages. And the reason I brought this in because tied to the Titanic was Glenville Woods. He was a black inventor, over 60 patents. In fact, Thomas Edison, he had to sue Thomas Edison because Thomas Edison was trying to steal and claim his stuff. All the white people were trying to claim his stuff, but he held fast. He was bold. He won all his lawsuits. But anyway, the Titanic was using his wireless operator. He was responsible for the first wireless communication from boats, airplanes, trains, you name it, Glenville Wood. Anyhow, let me just read this. This was the story told by the bystander afterwards on the pier. One husky Italian told the writer on the pier that the way in which the men who were shot down was horrible. His sympathy was with the men who were shot. They were only trying to save their lives, he said. Wireless operators died at his post. On board the Titanic, the wireless operator with a life belt about his waist was hitting the instrument that was sending out CQD messages warning. Struck on iceberg, say this was the warning message, CQD. Shall I tell the captain to turn back and help? Flashed a reply from the Carpathia, the other book, another boat. Yes, old man. The Titanic wireless operator responded. Guess we'll... An hour later, when the second wireless man came into the box-like room to tell his companion what the situation was, he found a Negro stoker. Say it again. He found a Negro stoker. Now, aboard the Titanic, another name for stoker is a fireman. They work the bows of the Titanic. Y'all probably have never heard of the bows of the Titanic. Let's just say it's the basement. But that was that's how the Negro stokers got on there. They had them on as firemen. It was a cold strike in 1912, and all the white laborers refused to go to work. They had built this exclusive, expensive ship, and they were not going to lose no money. So this is how all these black people got on the Titanic, because it was a cold strike. It was a strike, and they started hiring black people aboard the Titanic. So these Negro stokers, they worked in the bows of the Titanic, and they were shoveling coals into the big boiler. That's what they were doing. It was hot down there, and it was very hot. They were later named as the Black Gang. Also, you did have a few white Irishmen down there, but that I was told they couldn't take the heat like the black men, so they couldn't stand it down there. But let me get on talking. He found a Negro stoker creeping up behind the operator, and he saw him raise a knife over his head. He said afterwards he was among those rescued, that he realized at once that the Negro intended to kill the operator in order to take his life belt from him. Now y'all know that song. This man wanted a life belt. He was not trying to steal no life belt. And why would he have a life belt in the first place? Why would blacks refuse a life belt? That is the real question here, and that's what we're looking at. But anyway, let's keep on going. Let me read this over. The Negro intended to kill the operator in order to take the life belt from him. So they had refused to give the blacks aboard the Titanic life belt. The second operator pulled out his revolver and shot the Negro dead. And you know what? It's just something how this is so similar to what my grandfather was telling me. Moving on along, so the Negro was shot dead. What was the trouble? Asked the operator. That Negro was going to kill you and steal your life belt. The second man replied, you know what? This pissing me off. You know what? The nerve of them thinking that they would kill this man because this man wanted a life jacket, and they really felt like they were in the right for killing him. Thanks, old man, said the operator. The second man went on deck to get some more information. He was just in time to jump overboard before the Titanic went down. The wireless operator and the body of the Negro who tried to steal his belt went down together. So that's how they gonna say he went down as a thief for asking for a lifeboat. Thank you guys for rocking with me. There you have it. Get the book. Get that book, you guys. Welcome to the home of. So thank you guys for rocking with me and celebrating the anniversary of my great auntie who died aboard the Titanic. Joseph LaRue was aboard the Titanic. He was a black engineer. He had a doctorate degree, and indeed he was royalty. His uncle Cincinnatus was the president of Haiti at the time, and you know Haiti had just won their independence. They had defeated and fought and won their independence. Anyway, shout out to Mr. LaRue. He was married to a white woman. He had biracial children aboard. He was not recognized for his royalty. He was a black engineer. In fact, he had a PhD. Shout out to Mr. LaRue. And those that died aboard the Titanic, down in the bowels of the Titanic, those men that were shoving all the coals. Anyway, thank you guys.